We all love to see those now and then photos of people who've lost a ton of weight. It's fascinating to see a 400-pound person transformed into this tiny, muscular, tanned eye candy. It's almost sexier to see someone who's lost a ton of weight than someone who's just naturally skinny. This may be because we know that they've overcome an enormous challenge in their life, or it's because we can just see them at their ultimate worst compared to their ultimate best. Hello, my name is Darby Jenkins, and I say it's time to make the earth skinny by ridding the world of its overpopulating weight, garbage. Now I know being told to recycle and why it is so important gets tiring to hear. So before you roll your eyes and stop listening to me, you should know that I will not just be talking about recycling, but I will also be talking about upcycling. Upcycling is the process of converting old materials or waste into new products for better environmental value and better quality. We all want to save our planet. I mean, we only have one. And you could be considered inhumane if you don't care that our filth is killing it. But sometimes we don't even realize that certain things we throw away could be used for other things, rather than just sitting in our landfills. Today I'm going to help you realize how big of a problem our trash is becoming, but also show you new ways to recycle or upcycle to save our environment and our money before we see Earth at its ultimate worst. First, let's take a look at how much product waste America is actually producing. According to a statistic in an article of 2012, Recycling Statistics released, the average person produces 5 pounds of waste per day, and only 1 pound of that is recycled. That means over 80% of all waste goes to the landfill. But here's the kicker. 75% of all product waste is recyclable. At this rate, our landfill's capacity will be exhausted within the next 10 to 20 years. Things like appliances, furniture, mattresses, light bulbs, they may not be considered curbside recyclable, but they are still recyclable and reusable. And instead, they fill up space and take up space in our landfills. Here's a diagram of what's all sitting in our landfills today. But first, let's look at some solutions to this increasing problem. America's main focus should be to expand our recycle options. Since the majority of all of our product waste is recyclable, or at least reusable, then we should be making sure that nothing goes into the landfill that doesn't need to be. Articles like Turning Trash into Treasure talk about industries who are experimenting with our waste, such as diapers and non-recyclable plastics, and they're turning them into fuel. If other industries and companies take interest by investing time and finances to convert our waste into resources that people use every day, then we would be able to make so much better use of our rubbish. Not only does this help save the planet, but the money spent to convert these items would be made back because we'd be using free, reusable materials to begin with. This also helps create jobs for our already tough economy. You would need scientists who know how to convert the waste, people to transport the waste, factory workers to make the new products. The list goes on. So you may be thinking, what happens if no one takes action soon? Well, like I said, in the next 10 to 20 years, our landfills will be filled to the brim, and we'll have to find a new place to put our trash. I don't know about you, but I for sure do not want my future children playing on junk piles, rather than parks with green, luscious grass. The problem is not just the enormous amounts of waste that we are producing. This is an article called One Man's Trash, found in the New York Times website in 2013, but it's the amount of time we are producing it in. Yes, waste does decompose after time, but it sometimes takes hundreds and thousands of years to decompose certain things. Even though when trash sits in one spot, it actually slows down the decomposing process to a point where it's practically preserving it rather than breaking it down. Here's a diagram of how long it takes certain things to decompose. As you can see, it only takes a year for paper to decompose, but paper adds up. All the way over, it takes glass bottles 1,000,000 years to decompose. That is an unfathomable amount for anything to be staying around that long. Next to it, you have aluminum cans, which take 500 years. But the really cool thing about aluminum is that it takes 25% less energy to make an aluminum can out of a recycled one than it does to make a whole new one. So recycling aluminum is very beneficial. Just like the famous quote, "One man's trash is another man's treasure," we will now look at the beauty at items that are otherwise considered at the end of their life cycle. According to Talk Trash, an article from The Entrepreneur in 2013, chip bags are a new wearable art fashion. Boys, I bet you would look great in this. I know a girl back home who did practically the same thing. All you do is wash out the bags, sew them together, and voila. I also know a girl who experimented with can tabs. She made 2 floor-length dresses. One, she used elastic to weave the can tabs together so it was retractable. And the second one, she did chainmail, which is just folding the can tabs over each other so it starts to look like armor. It's very cool and an awesome Halloween costume idea. Now let's think about those high school t-shirts that are just sitting in your closet. You're not wearing them anymore, you have your college shirts. And you can't really donate them anywhere because nobody wants your high school t-shirts. So instead, make a blanket or a quilt out of them. And this way, you get to, it stays out of the landfills, you get to keep the memories, and you get to stay warm. It's a win-win-win. Now here's an idea of what you can do with glass bottles, since it takes so long for them to decompose. This is just one idea out of thousands. And if you think about how much money people spend on decorating for their house, then it's amazing that we aren't doing this already, because it is such a unique and one-of-a-kind way to decorate your home. Now you may be thinking that I am not creative and wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff, but you can still recycle these items, because people who do upcycling projects are constantly looking for materials they need to make their projects. In closing, before you throw anything away, think about what that item could be turned into or used for something else. America is producing more trash than ever before, which is why it is imperative to keep every piece of pointless garbage out of our landfill. It is clear that if nothing is done about the way we deal with our trash, we will soon be standing in our own filth, literally. But with the help of industries and companies, and each individual person being smart about what they throw away, we will soon be able to save money, save energy and resources, and save the world. Recycling and upcycling may take a little bit of time, but it doesn't have to be boring, and it is completely worth it. Jennifer Wong said in an article called "Reimagining Our Waste," found on abcnews.com in July of 2013, that upcycling is just a greener, sexier version of recycling. So I say, let's see our planet at its sexiest. Thank you.